Good evening and welcome to the Tabletop Trio Network as we broadcast the Total Nonstop Racing League live each and every Monday night right around 8 o'clock Eastern. My name's Bob Giaquinto and it's Bristol. TNR Gen 4 Cup Series presented by Schue's Landscaping to Bristol Motor Speedway tonight. 200 laps and a lot of mayhem, bumper to bumper racing, a lot of slamming, multi-grooves, and more. This is going to be one heck of a race. Afternoon race here for you tonight. 84-degree air temperature, but look at that track temperature. 105 degrees. Things are going to be slippery and not a whole lot of grip. So this is going to be a very fun one for you tonight. We'll take a look at the results for practice. We'll get the tower shown up for you right now. As of right now, not a whole lot of cars on track as we see the 28 of Jamar Dumas go around, but everyone getting themselves ready to go for this one. And this is going to be a ton of fun. A couple of things to look out for tonight is tire wear, believe it or not. I was talking with a couple of drivers before the race, and they were saying you could do about 100 laps on fuel, but you're going to need tires well before you're even close to running out of fuel. So tire conservation is going to be a big deal for tonight's race. And as you can see right there with the 28 of Jamar Dumas, so is car control. That is going to be very difficult for a lot of these drivers. And the biggest takeaway from that is you get sideways once, those tires are heated up and you're going to have to back it down way, way, way more than you think you need to just to get the temps cooled off. Or if you heat up the tires, you go into the corner, try to floor it out of the corner. Your car's going around and there's going to be a lot of mayhem. This could very well also be a race of attrition tonight, just due to the fact that there's going to be a lot of spinning, close quarters, and when you're inside the car, you really cannot see anything going on through the corner. So we'll ride along with Jamar Dumas as he is going to make a practice pit stop. Very hard to do as Jamar, of course, hits the barriers. So we'll jump on with the 77 of John Canizaro Jr. and look at that out of the window. When you're in the corner, especially here, you cannot see the exit of the corner. So if there's a car sideways and you're entering the corner, you just got to rely on that spotter, because otherwise it could be mayhem for you and, well, half the field, especially if you're towards the front of the pack. Taking a look at the point standings for tonight's race, coming into things. It's been all dizzy so far, as Tim Johnson, our points leader after 4 races, 661 points. Chris Cabot in second, Shane Ewing there in third. John Daniels, the first non-dizzy driver, he is currently sitting P4 in the standings. Jeff Price in fifth. Philip Scott, after that podium finish last week, will come in 6th place entering tonight. As Canizaro tries to get down pit road, couldn't quite get it done. There is John Daniels there. Mike Floppy Tellier 7th, Anthony DeBarro 8th, Jonathan Gaston in 9th, tied in 8th, and Luda Albright there rounding out the top 10. So pretty decent points fight there at the front of the field. Taking a look at the points structure for the Total Nonstop Racing League. GNS Series presented by Schue's Landscaping, or Schue's Lawn Service, rather. A win gets you 122 points. A pole gets you 5 points. Leading a lap gets you 5 points, and if you lead the most, there's an extra bonus 5 waiting for you. So if you complete the trifecta of pole, leading a lap, and leading the most laps, that's an extra 15 points in your pocket that could go very, very far, especially as we get down towards the latter stages of the year. We don't do playoffs or anything like that. This is a full season marathon to the end of the year, so it's definitely one of those races where, or one of those seasons where you have to pick up as many points as possible. But that being said, we'll take a look now as we get ourselves ready for qualifying. A couple of drivers getting ready to head out on track. As we look to see if anyone is starting their qualifying run so far. There's the points leader, Tim Johnston. All right out there. John Daniels, Mike Tellier, Jacob Bettis as well. We'll pull up the scoring tower here and see where everybody goes. Good run so far for this number 82 driver. Big slide coming out of turn 4 for the 80 or the 22 or the 82 rather. Still best so far with a 14.8. John Cannizzaro goes 0.02 of a second back. Take a look here. Shane Ewing getting ready for his qualifying run. Tom Bourne out on track. Can he improve? Bourne's first lap is going to slot him in P5. Will Ratcliffe in the chat over on YouTube saying, wish I could race tonight. Good luck all. Definitely missing you out there, Will. As Tom Bourne goes P5. Shane Ewing getting ready to head out now. 14.8 his first time through. Shane's going to go 10th at the moment. And, oh, he gets real loose coming out of 2. And that's going to end his qualifying run. Philip Scott on the board starting P7. Bristol, definitely one of those Philip Scott types of tracks. Very meticulous, loves to have a good loves a good sliding car. And he was saying earlier this afternoon in the driver's chat saying, hey, everything feels good for tonight. So got to watch out for Philip. He might be one to watch for as we get this race going. But only a few more moments until qualifying is over. But before we do that, let's take a look at the results for practice. If we can get those up on the screen. There we are. Anthony DeBarro was fastest through practice with a 14.88. John Cannizzaro Jr. just a little bit behind him. As we see the rest of your favorite drivers out there. But as we say that, we might be getting ready pretty soon to jump over into our race session. Shane Ewing, the only driver out on track. Big slide there from Shane. And I think Shane might be saying, all right, we're just going to back this one down. I have enough time. Might try to take one more lap around just to see what I can do. but we shall certainly see. It looks like Chris Gabot heading out on the racetrack now. Let's see what Chris can do. Shane Ewing back to 12th as Gabot takes the green flag. Good drive down into turn number 3. Hugging the apron. Good drive off the corner. That's only going to put him P10. And if you notice that blue line going right around the apron, this is the version of Bristol where it's one long continuous pit road. So you have to enter in turn 2, stay at the pit road speed limit all the way around the track until you leave in turn 1. So could be very interesting as this race goes on, just to see how all that is going to work. As we wait for everybody to jump out and get themselves onto the racetrack. So let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. On pole is the number 82 Dizzy Motorsports machine of Tim Johnston, his teammate Anthony DeBarro in second. Row number 2 has John Cannizzaro Jr. and John Daniels. Row 3 has Tom Bourne and Philip Scott. Mike Floppy Tellier and Jamar Dumas make up row 4. Row 5 has Luna Albright and Chris Gabot. Row 6, Jonathan Gaston as well as Jacob Bettis. Shane Ewing, Danny White in row number 7. Jason Schue, Jeff Price make up row number 8. Garrett Gleason and Adam Stewart round out this 18-car field for this evening. And this is going to be a very, very fun race for sure. A lot of chaos, as always. But we will see some great racing out there for both driver and fan alike. So as you can see right there, the lights on the pace car are off. Onboard cameras on every single one of these racing vehicles. Take a look at the rest of the field here behind the 82 of Tim Johnston. But the pace car getting ready to make a hard left turn on to pit road. Field bunching up, getting ready to go into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Bristol. 200 laps. Great jump there by Anthony DeBarro. He's going to get going. Looked like the 82 might have spun his tires. He's going to cause a bit of a backup there as everyone now trying to get around. Now they're almost 3 wide. Side-by-side battle just a little bit further back between the 99 and the 97 of Mike Tellier. Philip Scott on his outside. There's the Luna Albright as well as the 28 of Jamar Dumas in there. Albright on the inside, had a great drive off the corner. And we already have our first yellow of the evening. And oh, heavy, heavy contact for the 24 Jacob Bettis. Let's take a look here at the Tabletop Trio replay just to see what all had happened out there. As we'll pull this one up right here, put it in slow motion as we see Bettis up on the high side like normal. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Might catch the wall. No. Oh, right there. He just kicks a little bit sideways. back down the track. They're still side by side. And almost pitching it into the corner goes Bettis. He gets sideways right in front of Jeff Price. Oh, he collects Shane Ewing right there. And a hard lick. As, oh, Adam Stewart involved as well. Looks like Danny White there in the all-black Jack Daniels machine there too. And just a very tough break. Heavy, heavy damage on that number 24 car. But we'll see how that one goes. We see the 24 there on pit road at the moment. A lot of cars actually heading down pit road, including this driver. That's the number 32 is Shane Ewing. Little bit of damage you see on the right driver's door. Nothing too bad. Same with Danny White. I think Schue coming down to get maybe some damage fixed as well. But there goes the 32 of Shane Ewing. We'll drive off. A lot of front end damage there on the 4 of Adam Stewart. Tough break for Adam. He was saying he had a fantastic run last week, and he really did. Results may not show for it, but he had a great run, kept it straight, kept it out of the wall, didn't spin or anything like that. Just had a good, quiet, solid race, and that's all you can ask for, especially someone who's just kind of learning the car, learning the league. Definitely had himself a really, really good run. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Anthony DeBarro still on point, as it looks like we're going to be getting ready to go back to green this time by. DeBarro on point, John Daniels to his outside, Cannizzaro, Tom Bourne make up row 2. Tim Johnson has already slid back to 5th. Very uncharacteristic for him, but I believe he might have just spun the tires and just had a hard time keeping the car underneath him. A lot of horsepower on these cars. As pace car pulls off, we're back green. DeBarro with a great start. Daniels, Cannizzaro side by side. Daniels trying to sneak down, can't quite do it. I think he might be content with running that middle line. That's usually the line that I like to run here at Bristol as well. Daniel was saying in the pre-race chat that I have with some of the drivers, just, you know, how he likes to have the back end of the car with a different message depending on what league he's in. And this car says, don't push. No, just don't. Wedge and all that, probably not a great idea. But here's a battle for the lead now. There's Daniels trying to take a look to the outside. Nothing going there for him. As now he's going to try the high side again. Cuts back down, gets himself a good drive off the corner. That's kind of the preferred line. Is a little bit further back. We see Tom Bourne putting some pressure there on the 77 of John Cannizzaro Jr. Tim Johnston falls back 2 more spots. This time to Tellier and Albright. Albright snags the wall just a tiny bit. Here comes Jamar Dumas trying to capitalize on that mistake. As they're all side by side. Tightest battle on track right now at the moment. As Dumas now tries to make the move around Johnston. This here is a battle for 7th. Dumas is going to have the momentum. The 82 is going to have the preferred line to the inside, at least at this point of the race. But so far, we are keeping it clean and green. 8 laps into this run. Pretty decent battle going at the moment. Nothing really missing here at the top of the field. A little bit further back in the pack, we've got a decent battle going between Ewing, Gaston, and Gleason. Just a little bit of pressure, nothing too wild and crazy going on at the moment. You could really see how yawed out a lot of these cars are. Especially on exit there, you saw the O2 of Daniels getting a little sideways. And oh, a couple of cars got in the wall. That was the 4 of Adam Stewart. Jason Schue got sideways. He's able to keep it going. This could get a little hairy here as Schue's going to hold the bottom. Stewart holds the top. These guys now side by side for position. Still battling out the 82 and the 28. A couple of mirror numbers going on. As Adam looks to pull down onto pit road. Schue doing his best just to hold the bottom line. And these guys just stuck on one another. Johnston gets a run. They're side by side battling it out. Up front, we got a good battle brewing here between the 8 and the 97. Ever since Richmond, I feel like these two have been essentially glued at the hip. But Luna's going to have the advantage for the moment. This right here, a battle for P5, as Albright starts to drive away. Johnson able to get around Dumas. Now he's going to set his sights for the 97 of Mike Tellier. A little bit further back, Dumas now falling to the clutches of Chris Gabot. Have to wonder if the battle for the last 10, 12 laps between Johnson and Dumas might have cooked the tires for the 28. He starts to fall back just a tiny bit. Jeff Price getting close to the wall. I don't know if he brushed it or what, but look at that. Jeff Price flying around Dumas like he was standing still. I think Dumas might have just burnt the tires off a tiny bit, or he just could be backing off saying, you know what, I'm going to save some tire, maybe get a little bit more at the end of the run. But we shall see. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, it's this guy, Anthony DeBarro, driving away from the competition, but John Cannizzaro is there too. Cannizzaro still trying to track him down, but DeBarro opening up now, almost a 0.7 of a second lead over him. If you like what you see, feel free to like the channel, subscribe if you're on YouTube, follow us if you're on Twitch. like the video, and all that fun stuff really helps us get our story out to any drivers and anyone who wants to watch the race, be a part of the league, friends, family, and more. Trying to hit the 100 follower goal on Twitch. Trying to hit the magical number of 50 subs for YouTube. So anything you could do to help us out would be greatly appreciated. As looks like Garrett Gleason might have had a little bit of an issue there. Oh, Gleason almost got into the wall again. That is going to be the next real challenge for DeBarro. He's already put Schue a lap down. He's got Garrett Gleason in his sights. Schue right now, the only car one lap down, so if I'm Garrett, I'm saying, man, I wish I had a yellow at the moment. Don't want to be put a lap down. I think the same will go for Schue as well. I'm sure Schue's saying, all right, let's get this yellow. Or maybe Garrett can hold off the 28, or the 27 rather, but as I say that, there goes Garrett Gleason. Smartly pulls over, lets the leaders go. Canizaro there as well. He's going to get around that 7 of Gleason. We'll jump on board with the 77 machine. Camera up on Colossus. Trying to get ourselves the best possible shot as always. By all means, Ace, we are always accepting viewers, or drivers rather. If you take a look in the description, we should have the TNR Discord there. If not, if you're on Facebook, make sure you check out Total Nonstop Racing on Facebook. Send a message and we'll get you in touch and we'll get you in the league. But a quarter of the way into this one, that's your leader, Anthony DeBarro. He's going to put Jason Schue 2 laps down. And why not take a bit of a through the field? We'll throw the track map up with your favorite driver's number just to see where everybody is. As you see, the gaps around the racetrack kind of shrinking. Everybody else exactly where they, exactly where you think they're going to be. That is your leader, Anthony DeBarro. He's led pretty much every single lap so far. Second place is this number 77 machine, the Mopar-esque Stay Tuned Sports Dodge, John Canizaro. Third place, we have the 16 of Tom Bourne, up 2 since the start of the race. Tim Johnson, the pole sitter, fell back after, looked like he must have spun his tires on the initial start. He's back there in P4. There's John Daniels just behind him in that purple and black machine in P5. And just back there, we have a good battle between the 97 and 99, Philip Scott and Mike Floppy Tellier. Tellier in the pink and black machine. Scott in the Ninja Phil Designs machine. Good battle there, a little bit of a crossover going. Now let's see if Scott's able to get the upper hand. Scott is able to get that one going. And so far, with everyone on the top 10, no one in the top 10 has pitted. Only one there is Shane Ewing after being involved in the lap 10 crash, or lap 5 crash, rather. We've got a good battle now here. Lynn Albright on top. Shane Ewing there on the bottom in the number 32 machine. As, oh, trouble. That's the 0-2 of John Daniels involved. We'll take a look to see what happened. So they're heading off in the corner. It looks like Daniels just might have had a little bit of help there from Philip Scott. We'll take a look one more time. As we ride on board, and yep, just a little nudge. There's Daniels trying to save it, but he's able to keep it straight, keep it in one piece. As we're back to live action, everybody heads down pit road. As there goes the whole field on to pit road. To borrow the first away, there goes Canizaro as well. John Daniels back on track. Lap cars as well heading down. Looks like Albright might have gotten a penalty on pit road. So Albright's going to have to go towards the back of the pack. Jonathan Gaston so far looks like he decided not to pit. Interesting. We'll take a look here at the pit strategy with the pit stop times. Looks like Jonathan Gaston no. Very interesting. I don't know what exactly happened out there, but they just got the one to go. So maybe we'll ask him the next time we get back under racing. As everybody lines up side by side. Lights on the pace car are off. Looks like the sun has came out a little bit there on track, so we'll expect the track temperature to start picking up a little more. 107-degree track temp at the moment. But that pace car pulls off. Leader in the hand, or race in the hands of the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. He gets a good start. DeBarro and Johnston side by side. DeBarro's going to have the spot and more as he drives away. Gaston on the older tires. Yeah, it looks like Gaston did not pit there, so he's going to have much older tires, and everybody else is going to be struggling to get around him. We'll keep the camera here on the 72. Just to make sure everybody's able to get around him. So far they will. The 16 tries to sneak to the outside. Albright was there. They were almost 3 wide. Now Gaston falls all the way back to P13. And then some. As there goes Jeff Price around him. Danny White coming up on his tail as well. Now they're side by side. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, we got a couple of guys side by side. Here's the 32 of Shane Ewing to the inside of John Cannizzaro Jr. These two drivers putting the pressure on each other. Mike Tellier up front. He's going to pick up some time right on the back bumper of Anthony DeBarro. Now they're side by side for the lead. There goes Tellier. Let's move Mike Floppy Tellier up to the point. Give him 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And wow, John Daniels up against the wall, somehow able to keep it going in the right direction. And now he's looking like he's shot out of a cannon there. Great jump. And I'm starting to wonder if DeBarro is sitting there toying with the field saying, all right, I see what you guys got. Let's relax here. Maybe save some tire. Still in P2 at the moment. Now he's back to P3 as Daniels is getting around him. Garrett Gleason heads down pit road. Maybe picking up a color commentator here soon. Mike Tellier has opened up about an 0.8 of a second lead over these guys. As right now, good battle brewing between the 25 of Chris Gabot and the 99 of Philip Scott. Gabot gets loose down on the bottom side. Noise here normally sounds like a car hitting the wall, but it's all these cars bottoming out into the corner. The amount of G-forces these cars are experiencing are pretty wild here, so it's going to cause them to bottom out, and luckily no floor damage is simulated here. So if I'm one of these guys, I'm very thankful for that. Now Albright gets around Scott. Let's Dumas go. There goes Garrett Gleason out off of pit road. Gleason lost 4 laps in that exchange. Adam Stewart there as well. Danny White gets around him. Oh, trouble. Looks like Stewart got in the wall. We'll take a look there on the Tabletop Trio replay just to see what had happened to Stewart. I don't know if he might have gotten a little hip check or what, but we'll see here as here's the 4 of Adam Stewart. Looks like he might have came down a little bit as the 44 was coming back up the track. And there goes Stewart into the wall. So Adam Stewart heads down pit road. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, the 97 and Tellier catching the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. So put Gaston down a lap. Daniels and DeBarro still side by side. Daniels snags the wall. Oh, they almost come together. Daniels squeezed up into the wall. Here comes Cannizzaro into the mix. These guys still fighting it out. Jonathan Gaston saying, man, get me out of here. Canizaro gets around him. Tim Johnson is in there as well. About 15 laps away now from halfway. This is the Total Nonstop Racing League here at Bristol Motor Speedway. All broadcast live here on the Tabletop Trio network. Got a fun broadcast schedule for you this week. Obviously tonight with the TNR series. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll be broadcasting the Speed Xfinity series. Check us out right here on the Tabletop Trio family of networks, both YouTube and Twitch. And then Wednesday night, we're back to the podcast, twitch.tv/Tabletop Trio, as well as here on YouTube. You can check out all the action as we review the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival. Going to be doing some reviewing of a trip that our co-host Joe just came back from. And some other hobby news. So feel free to join us there for that this Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. But we've got a good battle brewing right now. As this is a great battle for third. DeBarro starting to drive away a little bit from this fight. As here comes Tim Johnston trying to sneak his nose into the fight. Johnston takes a peek to the inside of Canizaro. Can't quite do anything there as Schue, one of the lapped cars, is there on the bottom. Everyone goes high to get around Schue. Now here comes Canizaro. Canizaro sets his sights on Daniels. Johnston to the inside as well. Canizaro drives in deep, gets right to the back bumper of the O2. As we'll ride on board with the 77. Can't quite do anything there. They'll take a peek to the inside. If I'm Tim Johnson, I'm sitting here watching this battle saying, all right, maybe these two will take each other out and I'll get around them. Give us an easy spot. As, oh, we see Mike Tellier into the wall. And now DeBarro catches him. Battles all over the racetrack as Johnson scrapes the wall a tiny bit. As we watch all the battles on the racetrack right now. 0-2 into the wall, everyone pushing hard. That first run, 60 laps. But I'm sure this is going to be one of those moments of tires just kind of sitting there screaming, okay, we hurt, give us a break here. As we'll watch this battle for the lead unfold. DeBarro to the inside, Tellier to the outside. DeBarro has the spot. And we'll see if Tellier can battle back. Nothing going there for DeBarro. There's Mike Tellier. Meanwhile, Johnston able to get around Daniels. Here comes Canizaro to the inside. Daniels doubles back. He might try the crossover move. Couldn't do it that time. Couple of different errors of dodges. Fight it out right now. That is one thing I love to see with these Gen 4 cars, are all the different dodge and other makes out there on track. We got a Dodge for John Daniels, Chris Cabot driving a Toyota Camry, old Ford Fusion there for the 16 of Tom Bourne. Behind him, a Ford Taurus for the 32 of Shane Ewing. Philip Scott with a Dodge. Luna Albright in the Chevy. A lot of different options here for these drivers. Out front, DeBarro's opened up a 1.3 second lead. Johnston able to get around Tellier. Here comes Canizaro to the inside of him. And don't forget, last time all these drivers were on pit road was lap 59. So right now they're about 45 laps into this one. Lap time starting to fall off a bit. Last time by, leaders are doing about 16.2s. Everyone's best is about a 15, so about a second fall off over the last 40 laps. Good battle brewing here behind the 97 Atelier. Tom Bourne, Chris Cabot battle it out. Cabot to the high side. Bourne down low. The old NASCAR Thunder paint scheme. Neither driver willing to give an inch. There's Bourne to the inside. Still side by side. Door handle to door handle. Maybe a little bit of netcode contact between the two. Cabot trying to use the high side. Here's Adam Stewart on a fresh set of tires. As 25 of Cabot snags the wall a bit. But he's going to get right back into it as here comes the 4 of Adam Stewart. Oh, a little bit of contact maybe. As Cabot just says, all right, you got fresh tires, go on. I'll catch back up. Jeff Price looks like he might have had an incident, as Price nowhere to be found on track. We'll take a look at the replay just to see what happened to him. What happened to Jeff Price? Oh, it looks like he tagged the wall. So here comes Price. Drives down into the corner, into the wall hard. Just got stuck. Might have damaged the right front too. And looks like, yeah, he's just going to pull it into the inside and park the car. But as we say that, Jonathan Gaston heads down pit road. He might be having, might be out of fuel, as he's going to be making his first trip down onto pit road. Going to lose a ton of time. Already one lap down. Gaston pulls into his box. Crew goes to work on the right side set of tires. Now along to the left. And he's going to get rolling again. So here's your leader, Anthony DeBarro's teammate, Tim Johnston is catching about 7/10 behind him. Tonight's broadcast and cameras are provided by our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets. You can check them out in the link in the description below. Much appreciated for them supplying these fantastic camera angles for all of our oval races here at the Total Nonstop Racing League. Track Cams 22. Check them out on Facebook as well. Little sideways there for DeBarro. But nothing he can't handle. as we'll ride on board. There is the 72 of Jonathan Gaston, fresh tires and all. Says, I'm going to get this lap back the hard way. Now he's 4 laps down. Which, coming down pit road, that's going to lose you 4 laps at the very minimum. And right there, that's the gap for the battle for the lead. On board with DeBarra, there's Johnston down low. Jamar Dumas heads down pit road. Looked like Dumas might have had an issue as they get around the 44 of right. Good battle brewing here for the lead. Tim Johnston trying to track down DeBarra. Two drivers swapping positions. Johnston started on pole. I don't think he's actually led a lap yet. As DeBarra scrapes the wall. Looks like Luna Albright is going to be heading down pit road. So we'll have to wait to see. I would assume this is a regularly scheduled pit stop, as this is about 65 laps, give or take, since everyone is back down on pit road. Albright this season has been playing some pretty decent strategy, as Albright usually one of the first to head down pit road. And if you can make that pit strategy work, that's going to get you some good finishing positions. As Albright heads down pit road. Tom Bourne now onto pit road. Now we're going to get our cycle of green flag pit stops going, as we see the leader, Anthony DeBarra, gets around Bourne. Tellier, Daniels, and down pit road as well. We'll see anyone else making their way. There goes the 44 of Danny White. As, oh, a little bit of an issue there with the 28 and the 82. Take a look to see what had happened there, as I caught that just out of the corner of my eye. As we see right there, 28 just had a much larger closing speed. I don't know if that was netcode involved or what, but they wound up coming together, able to keep it straight in the right direction. No harm, no foul. We'll go back live as more drivers head down pit road. There's Garrett Gleason, 99 of Philip Scott in as well. And a yellow flag. Uh-oh. This could be an issue for some of these drivers who just pitted. Only 5 cars on the lead lap at the time of yellow. And I believe the incident was involving this driver right here. Let's take a look to see what happened with the 44 of Danny White. Oh no, tough break. Let's take a look here on the replay as Danny White comes off of pit road. He's green to go, and oh, big slide just as the leaders go. And wow, Tim Johnston almost heads down pit road, but the yellow came out. Little bit of a light yellow, quick trigger for the iRacing officials. But a tough break nonetheless, as now we see those leaders who did not pit make their way down onto pit road. Anthony DeBarro, Tim Johnston, John Cannizzaro, Chris Gabot, Shane Ewing. That is the field who is currently on the lead lap. Philip Scott is 1 lap down. Same with Tom Bourne. Philip was on pit road at the time of caution, so I'm not entirely sure who's going to get the lucky dog, if it's going to be Philip, if it's going to be the 16 of Bourne, or it could be a completely different driver. As Philip Scott heads down pit road, Tom Bourne stays out. Race off pit road is won by DeBarro. Out front looks like Albright, Tellier, and Gaston are going to be taking the wave around. Same with the 44 of Danny White. The 02 of John Daniels as well. So everyone just kind of mixed around in this lineup. So they're going to be figuring this one out momentarily. As looks like the 16 might have lost the lap on pit road. No, he's going to swing back around. So we'll see if the cars towards the front of the field get the wave around here. And they do. So not going to have time to grab anyone else back up into the broadcast booth, as we're about to get the green flag. And nobody looks like, might have been, yeah, nobody got the wave around. So only 5 cars left on the lead lap, after just a very unfortunately timed yellow. But the pace car is off. We're going to go back green. DeBarro the inside. Green flag back in the air. 69 laps to go. Everybody side by side towards the back of the field. Tom Bourne going around Shane Ewing. He does. Here comes Albright looking to put some pressure on Shane Ewing. Ewing just happy to sit there, say, all right, yeah, go for it. I'm a lap ahead of all y'all. Front of the field, DeBarro says, our scoring bug says he's on pit road. Clearly that is not the case. As we'll give the tower a little bit of a break for the moment. We'll take a look at the scoring ribbon on the top of the screen. Clear track ahead for this driver. That's the 27 of Anthony DeBarro. With a good-looking race car there in that 27 machine. In the Ponte Carlo. We'll get some of these flyby cameras going for you as we reach the 3/4 mark here at Bristol. 151 on the board, 50 laps remain. Only 5 cars left on the lead lap, thanks to some pretty inopportune yellow timing. But Philip Scott tracking down Anthony DeBarro says, hey, I'm going to take this lap back the hard way. Scott looks to the outside. Not enough of a gap to really do all that much. There's DeBarro. He runs the low side. Philip Scott trying to get momentum up off the high side. Scott gets a great run. I don't know if DeBarro slowed down too much or what happened. But here comes Scott yet again. Little bit of lap traffic there as Adam Stewart slow on the track. Two cars out of the race. 24, Jacob Bettis. We saw him have an incident at the beginning of the race right around lap 8. And Jeff Price, who got into the wall and looks like he was damaged and had his night ended. Garrett Gleason still on pit road. But at the moment, a great battle brewing here between the 27, who is the leader, and Philip Scott, who's a lap down, doing everything he can to get his lap back the right way. As the 77 of John Cannizzaro watches on. Meanwhile, Philip Scott doing everything in his power just to get something going for him. Big run coming from Scott. Nothing going there quite yet. Up ahead, that's the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. Gaston 3 laps down. Schue just above them in that black Dale Earnhardt Sr. machine. He's 4 laps down. Also in the chat, Richard Darkwood and Mimic say hello. Jacob Bettis said that didn't go well. Knew I shouldn't have qualified, just started in the back. Definitely a tough break there. Philip Scott, though, just holding on. Now here comes Cannizzaro to the inside. Cannizzaro gets around Scott. Here comes the 82 of Tim Johnston. Johnson able to get around Scott. Now he's going to start putting a little bit of pressure there on Cannizzaro again. The wild child. A lot of great racing out there on track. A lot of great cars trapped one or more laps down too. As we come to line, 30 laps remaining. Johnson takes a look. Big cluster of drivers there. They're 3 wide. Canizaro sneaks through the middle. There goes the 82 with Johnson around both Dumas and Stewart. Some tense moments there. That's opened up things. It says DeBarro's on pit road, but clearly he's not. Not sure why it's saying he's on pit road, but we'll just have to deal with it. As Anthony DeBarro out front, Canizaro there in second, putting on the pressure. Canizaro slowly picking up a little bit of time on DeBarro, as you see on the bottom of your screen. This time by. He's picking up a couple of seconds, but oh, trouble. Looks like Jamar Dumas involved. Let's see what happened there. As we saw some heavy smoke and tire tracks. Oh, big incident going there for these drivers. We'll pick this one up here on the back, on the front stretch. Dumas to the inside of Stewart. Looked like Stewart came down just a little bit, and Jamar nowhere to go for Shane Ewing. Wound up on the roof of Ewing. And that left the 28 machine nowhere to go. Take another look at the replay. This time we'll go on board with the 32 of Shane Ewing. Here they are into the corner. You can see Dumas there in the black Haviland machine. A little contact and oh man, just a tough break and nowhere for Ewing to go. So very tough break. For everyone involved. As we're now down to 22 laps to go. I believe Tom Bourne is going to be given the lucky dog. As the 4 cars now on the lead lap. Exit pit road. Start of the night with 18 drivers. Down to about 15 left on track. As there goes Shane Ewing around. Something sounded like an engine grenaded there. But our leader still is going to be Anthony DeBarro. As we wait for the field to move their way back around the racetrack. A lot of cars getting the wave around here, which could make for some very interesting strategy. All those cars getting the wave around. These are our leaders right here. As the field catching up to the pace car. Now look at that 32 machine. That is a battle-scarred 5th place car if I've ever seen one. But both Philip Scott and Tom Bourne now getting their laps back. But the pace car is off. Green flag back in the air, and we're back racing. 19 laps to go. Still anyone's race. As DeBarro gets a great launch off of the corner. Canizaro there just behind in second. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for third between Dizzy Motorsports teammates. That's the 82 of Tim Johnston and Chris Gabot in the outside. A little bit further back, there's the 16 of Tom Bourne. He's side by side with the driver. Great battle there in the back for all parties involved. But meanwhile, out front, here's Anthony DeBarro. DeBarro the leader. That's the gap between him and the rest of the cars on the lead lap. 7 cars total at the moment. 6 of them right here in this picture. Johnston snags the wall just a tiny bit. No harm, no foul, and they're going to keep rolling. Johnston in the middle of this one. Pull up the battle box. All 5 drivers right there on your screen on the right-hand side. Putting in a little bit of pressure there on DeBarro. DeBarro, about a 7/10 second lead. Pardon me, 4/10 of a second lead over P2 John Canizaro. They're side by side almost between Scott and Gabot. Johnson putting a ton of pressure on Canizaro. Is he going to be able to make a move here with 12 laps remaining? Nothing quite going there yet. Gabot might have snagged the wall a tiny bit. Now we're at 10 to go. Some lap traffic ahead. Schue pulls over. Albright is in there too. Now we're side by side for second. Lap car in the way. There goes Johnston to the inside. Canizaro to the outside. Albright in the wall. Johnston gonna pull away from this one. 9 to go, coming to 8 now. Here comes Canizaro to the inside. They're still side by side for P2. Can't do anything there as Tim Johnston will stay in second. Meanwhile, out front, Anthony DeBarro is checking out. About a second gap now between he and the rest of this fight. Scott trying to get around Gabot. Can't. Canizaro, the only thing standing in the way of a dizzy 1, 2, 3. Philip Scott up in the party as well. He makes a little contact with the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. White knuckle racing here. Oh, trouble. The 97 of Mike Tellier into the wall hard. He's got the 02 in his way. 44 of Wright gets into him as well. But we're going to stay green. Oh, big tense moment there for the leaders. Lucky for them, we're going to keep green. Everyone pointing in the right direction. Here's Anthony DeBarro. He's got about half a second over his teammate Tim Johnston. He's got about 0.8 of a second to the 77 of John Canizaro. Tom Bourne goes back a lap down. Pace is frantic here with 3 laps remaining here at Bristol. That's the gap between P1 and 2. Anthony DeBarro has it. Tim Johnston wants it. Coming out of turn number 4. White flag coming. This time by. 1 lap remaining for Anthony DeBarro. Does he have it in him, or is Tim Johnston gonna play spoiler? Down the backstretch they come. Still no chance. Checkered flag in the air. It's gonna go. Anthony DeBarro is gonna win it here at Bristol. So Anthony DeBarro gets first, Tim Johnston in second, and John Cannizzaro brings it home in third. We are going to hear from our podium finishers, and a whole lot more, as Anthony DeBarro is going to burn it down on the front stretch. DeBarro doing some donuts on the front stretch. Looking to see if I can find Cannizzaro in the Discord. John, if you're watching this, if you can get in the interview waiting room, that would be much appreciated. But we are going to take a look to see what exactly happened with a lot of these drivers. But the first driver we're going to hear from tonight will be the man himself, our third place finisher. Joining us now, third place finisher, John Cannizzaro Jr. John, first of all, congratulations in that P3 finish. Walk us through your night.
I've never ran these cars at this track, and it's been a long time since I've raced DeBarro, so instead of getting lapped by him, I had to follow him this time. But I had a pretty solid race going. Then first pit stop aside, I did a mile an hour over on pit road and got put to the back for it. Seems pit road and me aren't too good of friends this year, but I kind of killed the first set, massacred the second set going through the field, and then the third set, lap cars were not being my friend, and I kind of overdrove it, and I let Tim by me. So I think other than that, it was a pretty decent night. Unfortunately, it's not a win, though.
Yeah, well, before the race, I was talking with a couple other guys in the chat, and they were saying how tires really were a bit of a factor there, and they said you almost had to change tires before you'd run out of fuel. Is that something that you kind of noticed yourself?
Yeah, we had 100 laps of fuel, and I don't think anybody tried to go the full distance on 100, because I don't think you would have been able to. I don't think the tires would have been able to do it at all. I tried to run the bottom, I ran the top, and if you ran the bottom, you were fine. You did good on tires, and then you just get driven around on the outside. So it was kind of pick your loss. You're either going to kill your tires, or you're going to go straight to the back, and you never make it back up.
Fair enough. Well, next week, they're going to be racing at Sonoma Raceway. First road course of the season. What are your thoughts here, especially in these Gen 4 cars?
If you had said Watkins Glen, I'd be doing jumping jacks right now. I love Watkins Glen. Sonoma, on the other hand, has not been kind to me at all. So this is going to be an interesting next week.
Fair enough. Well, John, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout-outs, so let's hear them.
My good buddy Tyler, he's always been calling me. He acts kind of as a crew chief and calm head. I know if you've ever seen these races in the past, I'm a bit of a lunatic sometimes, so he helps keep me focused on actual racing. My father, he's over here. We're going to go bowling as soon as I get done with this interview. And you for broadcasting, Garrett and Mike for putting on the league and everything, and all the sponsors that come along with it.
Awesome. Well, John, congratulations there on P3. Go out and get you some bowling.
Thank you.
All right, that's John Cannizzaro, our second place finisher here for tonight. And I'm catching up now with our second place finisher, driver of the number 82 machine, Tim Johnston. And Tim, well, first of all, congratulations on the P2 finish. Looked a little stressful out there at times between some lapped cars and just lap traffic in general. Talk us through your night.
Yeah, it was every once in a while. We had a really good night, had a really good car. I stumbled there on the start. For some reason, my shifter wouldn't go into fourth gear. So was happy about the first caution. I was able to kind of fix that. But so sorry to the guys that checked up behind me, but thank you for not causing a huge wreck. But other than that, we had a really good race. I really liked how you could swap lanes. Lap cars held their line. So all in all, we had a pretty good night.
Yeah, it looked like you were having a pretty decent battle, especially at the end with Canizaro. Just a product of older tires having a hard time getting around each other, or just a good old-fashioned race there at the end?
Kind of a bit of both. It's definitely the tires did wear, and as they wore as the run went on, even if you had a little bit better tires, it was still really, really tough to pass. But like I said, it was really fun. Temperature was really great with the track. The tires didn't wear out horribly bad, but you could save them and be able to have a little bit left in the end. So, like I said, all in all, great night.
Awesome. Well, Tim, next week, racing at Sonoma Raceway in these Gen 4 cars. What are your thoughts there? What do you think your chances are at picking up another at least podium?
Hopefully I can do pretty good at Sonoma. It's never been a really good road course for me, but like I said, these cars are a little bit tougher to drive with the wheel spin and having horsepower. So I'm looking forward to Sonoma and see how we do, and hopefully we can pull out another top 3, top 5 finish.
Awesome. Well, excuse me. Congrats again there, Tim. I'm sure you're going to have some shout outs, so let's hear them.
I just want to thank everybody at Dizzy Motorsports. Congrats to my teammate, Ant. It was a lot of fun racing John behind me, too, at the end. Thanks to everybody at TNR that does all the work behind the scenes to run this league and give us somewhere to race every Monday night. And then thanks to you guys in the booth. You guys do a great job every week.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tim. Congratulations there on P2. Looking forward to seeing you next week at Sonoma.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. That is our second place finisher, Tim Johnson. And now we're going to grab our winner of tonight's race here at Bristol. Driver the number 27, Anthony DeBarro. Anthony, congratulations on the win. Looked like lap traffic at times got a little hectic out there, especially with the older tires. Talk us through your race.
It was a lot of fun. It was a good racing up front, and there was a varying strategies of how people were driving it, rather like save tires or just push pace the whole time. And you could pick different lines if you had to, which was really fun. I think the bottom was a little easier on the tires, which is why I tried staying down there. But if you needed to go to the top, and like at the end, we all, were up against the wall, just giving everything she's got, because it didn't mean anything to save tires. But it was cool. You could really run any lane. You could point the car. You could go top, bottom. Do sliders. I thought being during the day, made it a really good race.
And that is for sure. And, speaking of tires and that sort of thing, what are your thoughts about tire saving and versus fuel? A lot of guys were saying there's no way you're going to hit the 100 laps that you probably had in the tank. You're going to have to pit for tires. Is that something you've noticed?
No, I felt like if we would have stayed green on those couple long ones, that I could have gone the full fuel run, especially the first one. I kind of figured out I wanted to go hard enough where I could get some heat in the rear tires so it still turned, because it was getting really tight. So I was kind of like almost getting it sideways on exit just to get the left rear kind of warm, and that would help me point it in the corner. And I was just running a moderate pace, but not everything the car had, so I still had a little bit on the backside of the run. It was very difficult to manage that, and there was a lot of fall off, and it was like I said, you could go a lot faster, but you're going to pay the price laps. So I like the way these cars have been racing, and it's really a challenge, because you got to find yourself, giving and taking. You're just racing the racetrack essentially. If a guy gets you, just let him go and hope he returns the favor and you get back to him.
And speaking of this car being a bit of a challenge, next week racing at Sonoma, first road course of the year. What are your thoughts? Kind of looking forward to that.
keep it on the pavement. I think you'll have a good chance at a good finish. But I think it'll be fun. That's gonna be a difficult track because the high horsepower, and you're gonna want to be very easy on the rears on exit, so you could make up the time out of the two hairpins. So it's gonna be difficult going to the S's too. So I think it's gonna be really fun. Like, I am really excited to see what these do in a road course.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Garrett and the guys for putting this all on for us, and having us come out every week, and all the drivers. I mean, really have good racing, and not a lot of cautions, and we make it a good show for you guys in the broadcast booth. So, thank you to you guys for taking your time and doing this for us, and I always look forward to reviewing the race after.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, congratulations again. Looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Sonoma.
Thank you.
All right, that will do it for our interviews for tonight. As we heard from our top 3 finishers, let's take a look at the complete standings for tonight's race. If I can get them pulled up on here for you. Anthony DeBarro is our winner tonight. Tim Johnston in second, John Canizaro Jr. in third, Philip Scott fourth, Chris Cabot rounds out the top 5. Shane Ewing finishes 6th, Tom Bourne in 7th, 1 lap down. John Daniels had a great run, unfortunately got caught up in an incident with a couple of laps to go, fell back and became 2 laps down. He is going to beat out Mike Tellier in 9th. Luna Albright finishes in P10. Danny White in 11th, Jonathan Gaston in 12th, Jason Schue 13th, Jamar Dumas in 14th, Adam Stewart 15th, Garrett Gleason in 16th, Jeff Price in 17th, Jacob Bettis finishes in 18th place. Well, that will just about do it for us tonight here on the Tabletop Trio Network. Much appreciated to everybody involved, everyone in the comments hanging out with us and chatting away. If you do like what you saw, feel free to like this video on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube as well. Trying to hit the 50 sub follower or subscriber goal here on YouTube and 100 followers on Twitch. So would very, very much appreciate that. Liking, commenting, sharing always helps us out tremendously as well. You can check us out tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, as we broadcast the Speed Xfinity series right here on Twitch and YouTube, as well as the podcast Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, right here, twitch.tv/tabletop trio, as well as YouTube and anywhere you find your podcasts. So for one final time, I am Bob Giaquinto. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.